Pennies might seem worthless, but these 5 Lincoln pennies are the exception. They're so rare and valuable that collectors are willing to pay a fortune for them. And guess what? You're in the right place. Welcome to the channel, where we uncover hidden treasures and turn everyday finds into jaw-dropping discoveries. Ready to find out which pennies made the list? Let's start with the first one. In 1992, something special happened in the world of coinage. A seemingly ordinary 1-cent penny, commonly found in pockets, changed the course of history in a way that no one saw coming. This wasn't just any penny. It was the 1992 USA 1-cent penny. Now, you might be thinking, how could a penny, something we see all the time, be worth anything more than its face value? Well, by the end of this video, you'll discover the hidden story behind the 1992 penny and why it's considered one of the most fascinating and valuable coins in American numismatics today. Let's rewind a bit. The penny has been around for a long time, but the 1992 penny stands out because of its unique features and the mystery behind it. To truly appreciate its worth, we need to understand the historical context. The year 1992 was a time of change for America. It was the tail end of the Cold War, and Bill Clinton was elected as the 42nd President of the United States, ushering in a new era of politics and culture. The U.S. Mint, the organization responsible for producing all U.S. coins, was also in the middle of a transition. Before 1992, the penny had been fairly consistent in design. Since 1909, pennies had featured the image of President Abraham Lincoln, designed by artist Victor David Brenner. This iconic portrait of Lincoln would stay on the penny for decades, becoming an enduring symbol of the American spirit. But as the 1990s approached, the U.S. Mint decided to make a small change to the design. Something subtle, yet significant. In 1992, the penny was still dominated by Lincoln's image, but there was a slight tweak in the reverse design. This is where things get interesting. You see, a particular error during the minting process in that year led to a rare, unusual version of the penny. This version, known as the close AM variety, has a very distinct feature that sets it apart from all other pennies produced in 1992. And it's this particular penny that has become a treasure for coin collectors. What's so special about this close AM penny? Well, it all comes down to the spacing between the letters A and M in the word America on the reverse side of the coin. In the standard 1992 penny, the letters are spaced relatively far apart. But in this rare variation, the letters are closer together, creating a noticeable difference. This tiny discrepancy, seemingly insignificant to the untrained eye, became a huge deal in the numismatic world. Now, why did this happen? The mystery of the close AM penny revolves around the machinery at the U.S. Mint. In 1992, a transition was underway to introduce new dies for coin production, and the error occurred when the new dies were accidentally mixed with older ones. This mix-up resulted in a batch of pennies with the close AM variety, making them incredibly rare. In fact, it's estimated that only a small handful of these coins were ever made. At first, people didn't pay much attention to these minor variations. It wasn't until years later, when collectors started closely examining the pennies from 1992, that they realized something extraordinary had occurred. A few sharp-eyed numismatists began to notice the difference in the spacing of the letters on the reverse side. It wasn't long before word spread, and the hunt for the rare close AM penny began. The excitement surrounding this discovery grew quickly. People dug through their coin jars, sifted through old change, and scoured their wallets, hoping to find the elusive 1992 close M penny. And it's no surprise why. As with many rare and unusual coins, the value of the close AM penny skyrocketed as more collectors learned about its existence. What was once a simple, everyday coin was now a coveted piece of American history. But here's where things get really interesting. In the world of numismatics, rarity is the key to a coin's value. The fewer the coins, the higher the demand, and thus the higher the price. The 1992 Close AM penny fits this mold perfectly. With only a handful of these pennies out there, the competition for owning one of them became fierce. It didn't take long for these coins to be snapped up by collectors who were willing to pay top dollar for the privilege of adding such a rare piece to their collections. And now, the big reveal. How much is this penny worth today? If you're sitting there wondering what a penny, especially one that's been in circulation for so long, could possibly be worth, the answer might just surprise you. As of recent estimates, the 1992 Close AM penny can fetch a staggering $78,000 at auction. Yes, you heard that correctly. $78,000. You might be thinking, that's insane. How could a penny be worth that much? Well, it all comes down to its rarity and the fervor of the collectors who are eager to own one of these coveted coins. A rare error coin like this can reach such astronomical prices because of its scarcity. Only a small number of these Close AM pennies were ever minted, and even fewer have survived the test of time. It's important to note, though, that not every 1992 penny will be worth this much. To qualify for this impressive price tag, the penny must have the Close AM error on its reverse side. The regular 1992 pennies with the standard spacing between the letters are still worth only 1 cent. Unless, of course, they are in pristine condition, in which case they might fetch a few extra dollars. But the true treasure is the Close AM variety, which is the one collectors are after. So, how can you tell if you've found one of these rare pennies? It's actually quite simple. Take a close look at the reverse of the coin. Focus on the word America and see if the A and M are unusually close together. If they are, congratulations, you found a treasure. Of course, it's always a good idea to have a professional coin grader examine your penny to confirm its authenticity and condition before you get too excited. The 1992 Close AM penny serves as a fascinating example of how something as simple as a coin can hold significant historical and financial value. It's a reminder that even the most mundane objects can have hidden stories behind them, just waiting to be discovered. And in the world of numismatics, one small mistake during the minting process can turn a common penny into a small fortune as the years go by. The value of the 1992 Close AM penny could continue to rise. The world of coin collecting is always evolving, and new discoveries are constantly being made. So, if you've got a jar of pennies lying around, it might be worth your time to dig through it. Who knows? You could be sitting on a rare piece of American history worth thousands of dollars. In conclusion, the 1992 Close AM penny is a perfect example of how rare coin varieties can captivate collectors and hold immense value. Whether you're a seasoned numismatist or just someone interested in the stories behind coins, this particular penny is a testament to the power of rarity and the thrill of discovery. So, the next time you find a penny, remember, it might just be more valuable than you think. And now, if you ever find yourself with a 1992 penny, take a moment to inspect it carefully. You might just have a rare gem on your hands that's worth a fortune. Happy hunting, and remember to always check your change. You never know when you might find your own piece of numismatic history. Top 2. The year 1996 was an exciting time for the United States. A year that brought political shifts, technological advances, and cultural movements. But in the world of numismatics, 1996 holds special significance for a more unexpected reason: the 1-cent penny. On the surface, it might seem like an ordinary coin, just a small, copper-colored piece of currency used in everyday transactions. But as with many coins in the world of collectors, this particular penny has a fascinating story, one of rarity, mystery, and unexpected fortune. Let's take a step back in time to understand the historical context of this coin. The penny, as many of us know, has been part of American currency for well over a century. For years, the penny featured the image of President Abraham Lincoln, a design created by Victor David Brenner in 1909. The design was so iconic that it remained unchanged for decades. However, in the mid-1980s, the U.S. Mint decided it was time to slightly adjust the design. While Lincoln's portrait remained, the reverse of the penny saw a change that would influence coin collectors for years to come. For decades, the reverse side of the penny featured a simple wheat stalk design, a nod to America's agricultural history. But in 1959, the U.S. Mint made a bold change, replacing the wheat stalks with a depiction of the Lincoln Memorial. This design, known as the Memorial Reverse, would become one of the most enduring and familiar images on the penny. And it would stay there for many years, including the 1996 penny. 1996 was, in many ways, a year of transition. The country was navigating a changing economic landscape, with technology making massive strides in shaping everything from the way we communicate to the way we do business. In terms of coin production, however, things were relatively stable. The Mint had perfected the process of creating coins, and the design of the penny had remained largely unchanged for nearly 4 decades. But in the world of coins, stability doesn't always last. For most people, 1996 was just another year in the life of everyday coin circulation. However, the penny from that year would end up surprising collectors in a way that no one anticipated. In fact, it would come to be known for one particular subtle detail that made it incredibly rare, an error that, when discovered, would send shockwaves through the numismatic community. The 1996 penny became famous for a rare minting error. This error, which affected only a small number of coins produced that year, became the focus of an intense search by collectors and coin enthusiasts. What was the error, you might wonder? It all comes down to the mint mark. Every coin produced by the U.S. Mint carries a mint mark indicating where it was made. The mint mark on the penny is usually located on the obverse, just beneath the date. There are 3 main mint locations in the United States: Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. In most years, the penny is minted either in Philadelphia or Denver, and the mint mark indicates which city produced the coin. But in 1996, a rare error occurred that led to a situation where a penny that was supposed to be minted in Philadelphia appeared with a D mint mark, the mark used for coins minted in Denver. This error was small, but significant. A small number of 1996 pennies were accidentally struck at the Philadelphia Mint, yet they had the D mint mark of the Denver Mint. These coins are incredibly rare, as this particular mistake was not something that typically happened. In fact, it's believed that only a small handful of these error coins were ever produced. The combination of the year 1996, the minting location, and the misapplied mint mark made these pennies extremely valuable and highly sought after. At first, the error was not immediately apparent to the general public. Most people probably didn't give a second thought to the mint mark on their pennies. But in the years following, collectors began to notice that something was off. As people started to examine their 1996 pennies more closely, word began to spread about the D mint mark error, and coin enthusiasts quickly started searching for these elusive pieces of American history. The discovery of the error triggered a rush among collectors. Just like that, the 1996 penny with the misapplied mint mark became one of the most coveted coins in the numismatic world. The rarity of the coin, coupled with the intrigue of how such a small mistake could result in a coin of such value, led to a surge in demand. Now, you may be wondering, how much could a penny, a coin so often dismissed as inconsequential, really be worth? After all, pennies are the lowest denomination of U.S. currency, and most of us are accustomed to simply tossing them into change jars or discarding them. But in the world of coin collecting, value is determined not by a coin's face value, but by its rarity, history, and condition. In the case of the 1996 penny with the D mint mark error, its value has skyrocketed to impressive heights. Today, if you were to come across one of these rare 1996-era pennies, you could be looking at a coin worth a staggering $73,000. Yes, you heard that right. A single penny, which might seem completely ordinary to most people, could fetch tens of thousands of dollars at auction. This dramatic price is a reflection of the rarity of the coin, the excitement surrounding its discovery, and the demand from passionate collectors eager to own a piece of American history. But just like with the 1992 penny we talked about earlier, not all 1996 pennies are worth this much. Only those with the D mint mark error are worth such incredible sums. The rest of the 1996 pennies, which were properly struck with the correct mint mark or no mint mark at all, are still worth just 1 cent, unless, of course, they are in pristine, uncirculated condition. If you think you've found one of these rare 1996-era pennies, the first step is to carefully examine the coin. Look at the mint mark beneath the date. If it has the D mint mark but was struck in Philadelphia, you may have a rare treasure on your hands. But before you start planning your next big purchase, it's essential to have the coin professionally authenticated and graded by a reputable coin grading service. They will be able to assess the coin's condition, authenticity, and rarity, which will ultimately determine its true value in the marketplace. And for those who are just beginning their journey into the world of coin collecting, the 1996 D mint mark era penny is a perfect example of how small, seemingly insignificant details can make a world of difference in the value of a coin. It's a story that shows how rarity and history come together to create something far more valuable than the face value might suggest. Coin collecting is a thrilling hobby, and the value of rare coins can continue to climb as time goes on. Who knows? Maybe that penny sitting in your change jar, or the one you find rolling around in your car, could be worth more than you ever imagined. Keep your eyes open, and you might just stumble upon your own hidden gem.in conclusion. The 1996 USA 1-cent penny, with its mysterious minting error, stands as a perfect example of how a simple mistake can lead to something extraordinary. A coin that most people would overlook is now a sought-after collector's item, and its value has reached an incredible $73,000. The next time you find a penny in your pocket or on the ground, take a second to examine it closely. You never know what hidden treasures might be waiting for you. In the world of coin collecting, there's one small coin that often flies under the radar: the humble 1-cent penny. The penny has been a part of American currency for over a century, and while most of us view it as a simple, everyday coin, there are some rare pennies out there that are anything but ordinary. Today, we're going to take a deep dive into one specific penny, the 2015 USA 1-cent coin, and discover how something as small as a penny can be a true treasure in the world of numismatics. Our journey begins not with the coin itself, but with its history. To understand the significance of the 2015 penny, we need to look back at the origins of the U.S. penny. The penny was first introduced in 1793, during the early years of the United States, as a way to simplify transactions. Before that, coins used for everyday purchases were a mix of foreign currency and various forms of barter. But the idea of having a standard, universally accepted currency became essential as the country grew. The 1-cent penny has seen many changes over the years, with several designs and different materials being used, reflecting the changing eras of American history. But when we talk about the 2015 penny, we are standing on the shoulders of centuries of tradition. The design on the obverse, the front of the penny, has been consistent since 1909, featuring the image of Abraham Lincoln. This likeness, created by the famed sculptor Victor David Brenner, was chosen to honor Lincoln's leadership during the American Civil War and his role in the abolition of slavery. However, the 2015 penny also holds a unique place in history because it was the last year of the series of pennies that used a particular method of minting. For coin collectors, this makes the 2015 penny a milestone. In 2015, the U.S. Mint struck two types of pennies: regular copper-plated zinc pennies and a small batch of pennies made of pure copper. These copper pennies would eventually become rarer and more valuable due to changes in the cost of materials and the minting process. Now, before we get too far into the details of the 2015 penny itself, let's pause and talk about the design for a moment. The reverse, or back, of the penny features the famous image of the Lincoln Memorial, which has also been in place since 1959. However, in 2009, to commemorate Lincoln's 200th birthday, the U.S. Mint introduced a series of special reverse designs. In that series, the penny was given a new reverse featuring an image of Lincoln's log cabin, a representation of his early life. The penny's reverse would return to the familiar Lincoln Memorial design in 2010, but the 2009 series left its mark on collectors and coin enthusiasts alike. While the design itself is important to understand, the real value of the 2015 penny, and what makes it so interesting, comes from the materials used in its production. For years, the penny was made from 95% copper, but due to the rising costs of copper, the U.S. Mint switched the material to zinc in 1982, with a thin copper plating on the outside. The 2015 pennies, like most modern pennies, are primarily made of copper-plated zinc. However, in a fascinating twist, the U.S. Mint did a limited run of pennies that were made of 95% copper, a practice that had been discontinued decades earlier. These copper pennies were only struck in small batches, and even fewer of them made it into circulation. This is where things get really interesting for collectors. As you can imagine, the idea of a coin that's made of pure copper, in a world where most pennies are zinc-plated, is quite the discovery. And when it comes to rarity, the 2015 copper pennies are not only rare but also hold the potential for significant value. In the numismatic world, rarity equals value, and the limited number of these copper pennies means they are considered highly collectible. In fact, the value of these 2015 copper pennies has steadily risen over the years, with some specimens fetching impressive prices at auctions. For those with a keen eye for detail, knowing the exact year and minting process for the penny is key to identifying which ones might be worth more than just a cent. So, let's talk a bit about the specifics of the coin itself. How can you tell if you've found one of the rare 2015 copper pennies? Well, it all comes down to the minting process. While the regular 2015 pennies were made of copper-plated zinc, these rare copper pennies have a different weight and appearance. The copper pennies are heavier and have a more distinct, reddish hue that's characteristic of pure copper. The weight difference is significant enough that you can tell with a quick weigh-in. A regular 2015 penny weighs around 2.5 grams. While the copper versions tip the scales at about 3.1 grams, it's also important to remember that the rarity of the coin plays a huge role in its value. Just because you find a 2015 penny doesn't mean it's worth thousands of dollars. The specific copper pennies from 2015 are quite scarce, and finding one in excellent condition with no wear and tear is even rarer. The condition of a coin is always a critical factor when determining its value. Coins that are uncirculated and pristine are worth significantly more than those that have been in circulation for years. Now, let's talk numbers. What's the big reveal, you ask? How much could a 2015 penny, or rather, one of the rare copper pennies, actually be worth? You might be surprised or even amazed to hear that certain 2015 copper pennies have been sold for as much as $17,000. Yes, you heard that right, $17,000 for a single penny. But before you go rushing to check your pocket change, it's important to understand the context behind this value. The $17,000 price tag isn't for just any 2015 penny. It's for a copper penny in pristine condition, with no scratches or wear, and the added rarity of being made from pure copper. A coin like this is extremely hard to come by, and when one does surface at an auction or coin show, collectors and investors are often willing to pay top dollar to own such a piece of numismatic history. While most 2015 pennies are worth, well, a penny, the rare copper versions are a hot commodity in the world of coin collectors. It's a great example of how something as small and seemingly insignificant as a penny can, over time, gain value and become a collector's item worth far more than its face value. So, the next time you find yourself holding a penny, Remember that even the smallest coin can have a fascinating story behind it. And who knows, maybe you'll stumble upon one of those rare 2015 copper pennies which could potentially lead to a hefty payday. In the end, what makes the 2015 penny so special isn't just the coin itself, but the journey it represents. From its historical origins to the unique minting process that made these rare copper pennies so valuable. This little coin tells a bigger story of how history, economics, and even the smallest details can lead to big discoveries. And while most pennies will always be just pennies, the 2015 copper penny serves as a shining example of how rarity and condition can make all the difference, turning a simple coin into a true treasure. Top 4. Coins. They may seem like tiny, insignificant items, but in the world of numismatics, even the most common coin can tell a story, and sometimes that story is worth far more than its face value. Take, for example, the 2017 1-cent penny. On the surface, it may seem like just another modern penny, but for coin collectors and enthusiasts, this small piece of currency is filled with history, intrigue, and ultimately big value. To truly understand the significance of the 2017 penny, we must first take a step back and examine the history of the U.S. penny. The penny, or 1-cent coin, has been a part of American currency since the very beginning, introduced in 1793. It was initially struck from copper, but over the years, the materials and designs have changed as the U.S. Mint adapted to economic and political shifts. Through wars, economic turmoil, and technological advancements, the penny has remained a staple in everyday life, though its design and composition have evolved. The 2017 penny, like the majority of pennies in circulation today, features the famous image of Abraham Lincoln on the obverse or front. Lincoln's portrait has been on the penny since 1909, when it was first introduced by the U.S. Mint as part of the 100th anniversary of his birth. Designed by Victor David Brenner, this iconic image of Lincoln was the first time a president was featured on a coin, setting the stage for other presidential designs in the years to follow. While the Lincoln portrait has remained largely unchanged for over a century, the reverse of the penny, the side with the design on the back, has undergone significant changes throughout the years. For many years, the reverse featured the image of the Lincoln Memorial, which was first introduced in 1959. However, in 2009, to commemorate Lincoln's bicentennial, the U.S. Mint introduced a special series of reverse designs depicting various stages of Lincoln's life. But by the time 2017 rolled around, the U.S. Mint returned to the traditional Lincoln Memorial design for the reverse of the penny. While this design may be familiar to most, it's important to note that the 2017 penny, like many pennies before it, carries its own set of unique features that make it special to collectors. It's these features that give the coin its lasting appeal and value, even if, on the surface, it seems like just another coin. So, what makes the 2017 penny different from all the others? While the design is certainly a factor, it's the minting process and the composition of the coin that play a major role in its collectability. Over the years, the penny has been made from various materials. The earliest pennies were struck from copper, but due to rising costs of copper, the U.S. Mint switched to a copper-plated zinc composition in 1982. This change led to the creation of a lighter, less expensive penny, and since then, pennies have been struck using this copper-plated zinc composition. The 2017 penny, like its more recent predecessors, is made from 97.5% zinc, with a thin copper plating making up the remaining 2.5%. But there's more to the story than just the material. The U.S. Mint also faced significant challenges in 2017, as the cost of producing pennies continued to rise. In fact, the penny has become one of the most expensive coins to manufacture relative to its face value, often costing more than 1 cent to produce due to the materials and labor involved. In 2017, the Mint produced billions of pennies, but due to the ongoing debate about the penny's usefulness and the rising costs, there were growing discussions about whether or not it should be eliminated altogether. Despite the controversies surrounding the penny, the 2017 1-cent coin went into circulation just as planned. But it wasn't just about the penny's composition. There were also certain features that made this particular coin stand out for collectors. For instance, the 2017 penny was struck at multiple U.S. mint facilities, including the Philadelphia, Denver, and West Point mints. The location of the mint where a coin is struck plays a role in its rarity and potential value. While most 2017 pennies were produced in large numbers, some specific mint marks are harder to find and are often more valuable to collectors. The demand for unique and rare variations of the 2017 penny has grown steadily since its release. Collectors who are passionate about their hobby know that small details, like the mint mark and even slight differences in strike quality, can greatly influence a coin's desirability and price on the market. In particular, pennies that were struck with a higher level of precision or in smaller quantities have become prized possessions. As with any coin, condition is also a critical factor in determining its value. Coins that are in mint state, meaning they have been preserved in nearly flawless condition, will always command a higher price. A penny that is still shiny, with sharp details and no visible wear, is considered a superior specimen and will be much more valuable than one that's been circulated and worn down over time. The 2017 penny is no different, with high-quality, uncirculated examples fetching higher prices. However, the true value of the 2017 penny is also tied to something even rarer: an error. Coin errors, whether they're due to a misstrike, a flaw in the design, or an issue with the minting process, are often highly sought after by collectors. Even though the 2017 penny wasn't particularly known for any major errors, there have been reports of coins with strange, unexpected characteristics, things like off-center strikes, double strikes, and other anomalies that can make a coin stand out. These errors can significantly increase a coin's value. But the big question is, what's the value of a 2017 penny in today's market? Well, for the most part, a standard 2017 penny will only be worth its face value of 1 cent. However, when you factor in rare variations, error coins, and high-quality examples, the value of the 2017 penny can climb to unexpected heights. Some collectors have reported finding certain 2017 pennies worth anywhere from a few dollars to several $100s, depending on their rarity and condition. And now, for the moment you've all been waiting for, the 2017 penny that has really made waves in the numismatic world. Some highly graded, error-free examples of the 2017 penny, particularly those from certain mints or with particularly unique characteristics, have been sold for as much as $15,000. Yes, you read that right, $15,000 for a single penny. But, of course, not just any penny. We're talking about a rare, high-quality, near-flawless coin, often with unique minting characteristics, that has been highly sought after by collectors. This price may seem astronomical for such a small coin, but in the world of coin collecting, rarity, condition, and demand can all contribute to a coin's value skyrocketing. So, while your everyday 2017 penny may be worth just a cent, a rare, pristine, and sought-after version can be worth far more than that. For collectors, the 2017 penny is a prime example of how something as ordinary as a penny can hold significant value. Whether it's a rare mint mark, an error in the coin's production, or simply a well-preserved, high-quality example, this seemingly mundane coin has captured the attention of coin enthusiasts everywhere. Top 5. The world of coin collecting is a fascinating one. It's a realm where even the most common coins, those that many people overlook or discard without a second thought, can be hiding something special. A small, humble 1-cent penny, for example, might seem insignificant to most, but in the world of numismatics, it holds a story that can be as valuable as any treasure. Today, we're going to explore the 2021 USA 1-cent penny, a coin that, on the surface, might seem like just another penny, but in reality, It's a piece of history with a lot more value than you might expect. To understand the significance of the 2021 penny, we first need to take a step back and look at the history of the U.S. penny. The 1-cent coin has been a part of the American currency system for over 2 centuries. Introduced in 1793, the penny was meant to provide a convenient, standardized unit of currency for daily transactions. Since then, it has undergone numerous changes in design, composition, and value, reflecting the evolving needs of the country. The first pennies were made from pure copper, and the designs changed several times over the years, each iteration representing different phases of American history. The most iconic and enduring design, however, is the image of Abraham Lincoln, which has graced the obverse front of the penny since 1909. This design, created by Victor David Brenner, was a tribute to Lincoln's leadership during the American Civil War and his role in preserving the Union. It's this image of Lincoln that's been featured on the 2021 penny, as well as every penny since 1909. But while the obverse of the penny has remained consistent for over a century, the reverse, the back of the coin, has gone through a series of changes. For decades, the reverse featured the Lincoln Memorial, a tribute to the late president's legacy. However, in 2009, the U.S. Mint released a special series of pennies to commemorate the bicentennial of Lincoln's birth. These pennies featured unique reverse designs that depicted significant moments from Lincoln's life. While these designs were short-lived, they left a lasting impact on collectors. By 2010, the penny returned to its familiar Lincoln Memorial design on the reverse. But as we move into the 2020s, the 2021 penny stands out not because of its design, which still features the Lincoln Memorial, but because of the larger context surrounding its production. In fact, the 2021 penny came at a time when the future of the penny itself was being questioned. The debate over whether to continue producing the penny, given its rising cost of manufacture and diminishing usefulness, had been ongoing for years. For many years, the cost of producing a penny has far exceeded its face value. With each penny costing more than 1 cent to produce, there's been increasing pressure to eliminate the coin altogether. However, in 2021, the penny continued to be minted, much to the relief of collectors and enthusiasts who value its historical significance. In fact, 2021 marked a year of both continuity and change for the penny, as it was minted in large numbers at multiple U.S. Mint facilities, and even featured some subtle changes that would appeal to collectors. As we delve into the specifics of the 2021 penny, one of the most important factors to consider is its composition. Like most pennies produced since 1982, the 2021 penny is made primarily of zinc, with a thin copper plating. The penny weighs approximately 2.5 grams, with 97.5% of that weight coming from zinc and the remaining 2.5% from copper. While this composition is standard for modern pennies, the rising costs of both zinc and copper have made the production of these coins increasingly expensive. In fact, the U.S. Mint has been exploring alternative ways to reduce the cost of manufacturing pennies, but for now, the penny remains a fixture in American currency. Despite its relatively low cost to make, the 2021 penny still holds an important place in the hearts of collectors. For many, the appeal of the penny lies not just in its historical significance, but also in its potential for rarity. Most people don't give much thought to pennies when they're tossing them into jars or leaving them behind on store counters. But coin collectors know that even the most common coins can, with time, become valuable treasures. So, what makes the 2021 penny stand out among other pennies? One of the key factors for collectors is the condition of the coin. Coins that are well preserved, with no visible wear and tear, are always more valuable than those that have been circulated extensively. The 2021 penny, with its sharp details and relatively fresh design, can be an ideal candidate for collectors looking to add a coin in mint condition to their collection. Additionally, the mint marks on the penny play a role in determining its value. The U.S. Mint produces pennies at several different facilities, including the Philadelphia Mint, the Denver Mint, and, more recently, the West Point Mint. Each of these facilities marks their coins with a unique mint mark, and certain mint marks can be rarer than others. For the 2021 penny, the majority were struck at the Philadelphia and Denver Mints, but a small number were struck at the West Point Mint, and these pennies, because of their relative rarity, have caught the attention of collectors. Coin errors are another reason why the 2021 penny has gained attention in the numismatic community. Error coins are a fascinating aspect of coin collecting, as even small mistakes in the minting process can lead to coins that are highly sought after. For instance, there have been reports of 2021 pennies with double strikes, off-center impressions, and other anomalies. While these errors are relatively rare, they can increase the value of a coin dramatically, especially if the error is particularly unusual or striking. Now, let's talk about the big reveal. You might be wondering, how much is a 2021 penny really worth? Well, most 2021 pennies, just like most modern pennies, are worth only 1 cent in everyday transactions. But when you factor in rarity, condition, and any potential mint errors, the value of a 2021 penny can go well beyond its face value. Some collectors have been willing to pay impressive sums for particularly rare or high-quality examples of the 2021 penny, with certain coins fetching prices as high as $8,000. Yes, you heard that correctly, $8,000 for a single penny. Of course, these are not your average pennies. The pennies that have commanded such high prices are typically error coins or extremely rare specimens in mint condition, often with very specific features that make them stand out. But for collectors, the value of these coins is a reflection of their rarity and desirability within the numismatic community. So, while the 2021 penny may seem like just another modern coin, it has the potential to be a highly valuable piece of numismatic history. Whether you're a seasoned coin collector or just someone interested in the world of coins, the 2021 penny serves as a reminder that sometimes the smallest items can hold the greatest value. With its rich history, unique minting features, and the potential for rare variations, the 2021 penny is a coin that could very well become a prized possession for collectors in the years to come.